Hi, my name is Dr. Isaac Durrington. I'm a physical therapist at Biojunction Sports Therapy in Seattle, and I'm here to show you a good warm-up for snowboarding. If you want more information about why warm-up is important, you can check out my blog post in the link below. As a disclaimer, I would like to add that these exercises are a general recommendation. If you're dealing with an injury or other impairment, please seek specific advice from a medical professional. The first exercise I start with is a squat with an added hip extension to warm up the hip musculature and the joint capsule. As you can see in this squat, my trunk is flexed pretty far forward, which normally isn't ideal, but due to the restrictions in motion that your snow boots cause, it's okay. You should try and keep your chest up if you can. You also want to shift the weight from your heels to your toes, similar to what you would do while snowboarding. Next, I perform hip rockers side to side to continue to warm up the hips. After this, I go into hip circles to move in the full range of motion for the hips. My girlfriend laughs at me for all three of these, but they do a good job of warming up the hips. Now, to warm up the hamstrings and glutes, you can do a single leg Romanian deadlift. Some might call it a tippy bird. You want to keep your back straight, just hinge at your hips, and then pull through your hamstring and glute as you come to a forward position. Now moving on to trunk twists. You do a lot of twisting movements during snowboarding, so it's important to warm up these core muscles. Now I'm moving on to hip openers and hip closers to continue to warm up the muscles of the hip. You also need to warm up your shoulders due to the amount that you use them to get kind of on and off the ground. So just some shoulder circles forward and backward to warm up the shoulders. Next up, I'm doing neck circles. Your neck is an often overlooked area to warm up, but it's especially important for snowboarding when you're checking your blind spots and having to turn and make moves, etc. And lastly, we have wrist circles to warm up the wrist and forearm musculature. Snowboarding can be pretty hard on your wrists, especially if you fall, so it's good to warm them up to decrease your chance of injury. Now, with all these, you should be performing 10 to 20 reps, and it should only take around 5 minutes. It would be ideal to do this in the parking lot right before you begin your day. Activating all these muscles beforehand enhances your performance and decreases your chance of injury. For more information about this, check out my blog in the link below. Okay, this is Dr. Jenny McGarry, fellow physical therapist and my girlfriend, and she's here to demonstrate a ski-specific warm-up. First, she's going to perform forward lunges. This will help to warm up the quads, glutes, and hamstrings. These are going to be at a lesser depth than what your normal lunge would look like because of the ski boots, and that's fine. Next, she is performing side lunges to warm up those same muscles but in a different plane of motion, because skiing is not just performed in a straightforward motion unless you're one of those people who just bombs down the mountain. Now Jenny is going into some squats with isometric holds at the bottom. So you squat down, hold for 5 seconds at the bottom of that squat, and then come back up. This is really good because as a skier, you're often holding a squat position for quite a long time, so you need to warm up the muscles that are going to be doing that. Next up are shoulder circles. You have to use your shoulders quite a bit to use ski poles, so they need to be warmed up, and shoulder circles are an adequate way to do this. Next, she is performing forward leg swings using her ski poles for balance. This gets the muscles in her hips and legs activated and moving through a full range of motion forward and backward. Now she's going to perform lateral leg swings, moving across her body. Again, it is important to warm up in multiple planes of motion so her muscles are more ready for the positions she may encounter throughout the day. Trunk twists are another important exercise to warm up the core musculature. Now she's performing walking in place. This is a good way to warm up the hip flexors. You can see the forward and side views here. After this, she is going to perform butt kicks, an important exercise to help loosen up the knees and get those hamstrings working. Now lastly, she is performing a single leg Romanian deadlift, or a tippy bird as some call it, to further warm up her glute and hamstring musculature. Now, with all these exercises, you want to perform them for 10 to 20 reps on each leg. Should only take around 5 to 7 minutes. Ideally, you would perform this in the parking lot right before you begin your day. Activating all of these muscles beforehand will enhance performance and decrease your risk of injury. For more detailed information about why warming up is important, check out my blog in the link below.